2 years after, Mr. Sowore, what are your reflections?
On my way here, I almost turned back because I really don't think there's anything to evaluate. But because I'd already agreed to be on your show this morning, I said, I'm just going to come and be here to have exchange of ideas, which is fantastic. But after 2 years in office, there's nothing to evaluate. As you referred to my tweet yesterday, I looked at the signature project of the Tinubu regime, which was the 700 kilometers highway known as the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. And in 2 years, they have only succeeded in completing 30 kilometers. That means if they have 8 years, they would only have done 120 kilometers of a highway that they claim will be completed within their tenure. So that tells you where we are. That, for me, is the symbolism of how terrible things have been. But if you look at the energy sector, you look at the security sector, look at where Nigeria is. Nigeria is almost overrun again by terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, all across the country. The security situation is scary. The time this regime came into office, Boko Haram was in Yobe and Borno. As of now, the biggest terrorist camps are close to Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, and there's one in Kogi, in Okuland, around Obajana. So the terrorists are moving, very fast and quickly towards the Atlantic Ocean, as we've always heard. So there's nothing, in my view, that I can look at. We're talking about the economy. By the time they came, it was 460 naira to a dollar. Now it's about 1,600 naira to a dollar. If you compare that to wages and salaries, whatever it is they're earning, and workers are earning now, which is 70,000 naira for most of workers, is, in terms of value, is less than what they used to earn when it was 15,000 naira per month, when you look at the value of Nigerian currency. So the only people who are making progress, I must admit, are those people in the executive branch. The president just bought himself a brand new jet. He has the best medical insurance in the world. He travels to France anytime he coughs. Governors of states are collecting 4 times what used to be their monthly allocation and squandering and embezzling it. The local government autonomy that they said was going to happen, after the Supreme Court made a decision on it, the president reversed it. This last week, the propaganda was that we had repaid back a loan of $4.3 billion, and then 2 days later, we are borrowing $21 billion from the same people to whom we just paid, and to whom we just paid off some loans.
So 2 years later, after Bola Tinubu became president of Nigeria, Sowore says that there's nothing to evaluate Bola Tinubu on, that it's been a complete and catastrophic failure. So I'm going to read out to you Sowore's tweet from yesterday. He says, Tinubu at 2 years, a catastrophic failure. After 2 years of Bola Tinubu's disastrous reign, Naira destroyed. Nigeria's currency has gone from 460 Naira to 1,500. Fuel price at one point in time got from 185 to 1,100. Inflation at an all-time high, about 33%. There's mass poverty in the country. Businesses are fleeing. Bandits and terrorists still running the country. It says the same old corruption, new packaging. This is renewed shaking, it says, not renewed hope. I think my question before I delve into what Sowore is mentioning here is this. A lot of people say that Sowore is a mole, is a Bola Tinubu's boy, that is doing Bola Tinubu's bidding. That's why he's still free to walk around. Do you agree with that? Because for him to criticize a sitting government like this, it begs that big question: how is he a Bola Tinubu's mole or Bola Tinubu's boy? Because of his constant criticism of Peter Obi. Why? Now, to the big question, is he also right to say Bola Tinubu's government is a catastrophic failure? Or from your perspective, How do you assess a government like this? Is this government really a failure? Or has Bola Tinubu really performed to optimum, given the situation of the country when he took over? But as we break this down, I want you to watch this to the end and also subscribe if you've not done so. And if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, and also subscribe. After 2 years, on what basis are we going to evaluate Bola Tinubu and say he's done well? Because we have to look at parameters with which you can say he's done well. Look at it this way. Since Bola Tinubu took over, Nigerians have complained of serious hardship. I mentioned earlier, the naira has gone from maybe 460 naira to $1 to 1,500. The fuel price has gone up exceedingly. Inflation is at around 40%. Food inflation is around 40% or thereabout. So the question most Nigerians are asking is, how can Bola Tinubu say he's done well when Nigerians are suffering? Businesses have closed. A lot of businesses have left Nigeria. Multinational companies have left Nigeria. The likes of GlaxoSmithKline, the likes of P&G, they've left Nigeria. Small businesses have folded. They packed up. The cost of operation is so high. There's no electricity. People cannot afford those things they used to afford before. Even the government itself has had to put a budget for themselves to go and build to get solar panel. So how many Nigerians can afford solar panel at home? There are more Nigerians in multidimensional poverty right now under this government, but yet the government says they've done well. Unemployment, as I mentioned before, is so high because a lot of businesses have closed. Even the government the government is paying themselves so high, but Nigerians are only paid 70,000 naira. 70,000 naira for 1 month. And as a result of this mass closure of businesses and businesses, people have been laid off. So you can see the reason for the poverty, the reason for the unemployment. Yet then the same government is actually taxing more Nigerians. Another big issue as well is security. More people have died in Nigeria since this government took over. For example, a lot of people are dying when the president was in France or traveling to France. And the president didn't come back from France as mass killings were happening in Nigeria. He didn't. The government didn't come down. He didn't say anything. He stayed back. The president, I mean. 19 days later, he came back. I never visited the people or the places where those people were, executed or killed. But yet, they said he has done well. There's serious terrorism in our country. There's serious kidnapping in our country. There's serious banditry in our country. But security is still a big problem, and they've not been able to fix it. Let's look at politics of Bola Tinubu and democracy. Look at what happened in Rivers State. Look at our National Assembly. Our National Assembly is literally a rubber stamp part of the executive. Look at the hijack of Rivers State, how the Bola Tinubu administration hijacked Rivers State out of the hands of the Rivers people and imposed on them an administrator that the constitution does not recognize. So when Wole Soyinka when Sowore says that there's nothing to evaluate this government, what he's saying in essence, if you look at them, they failed. How do you evaluate failure? But based on these metrics I've read out to you, or I stated to you, how do you then say to the supporters of Bola Tinubu that he has done well? Because the people that support Bola Tinubu, they say they are bold reforms that he needs to do and they are necessary. So the question now is, based on what data did you use to evaluate the necessity to remove subsidy at the time that you did it, without looking at proper data and how the effect will happen, or be on Nigerians? When you floated the naira, how did you make that decision to float the naira? Based on what data? Because now the entire world is using data-driven decision-making process. But our government just makes the decision on the whim. Even the president admitted that it just came up to him and he just said it. And that obviously tanked the economy. Now, if you look at the other part that the pro-Tinubu guy says is that you look at the Lagos-Calabar coastal motorway or highway. But the question Nigerians are asking, is that so necessary right now when there are other failed roads within the state, within the country? And 2 years later, they've only completed 30 kilometers of that road, which Sowore says that by the time they're done, it will only be 120. They've not even come up close to the entire length between Lagos and Calabar. So I'm asking you the same question. What is the cost? What is your judgment of the Bola Tinubu administration? Is Sowore right to say that this is not renewed hope but renewed shaking? Or like Nigerians are saying, this is not renewed hope but renewed suffering? The ones that are arguing that Tinubu inherited a dead economy also forget the fact that Tinubu said that Buhari had done a very fantastic job. It will continue from where Buhari left off. And now they're now saying that, oh no, Buhari destroyed the economy. But he said Buhari did well, that it was going to continue from where Buhari stopped. So is it not going in the right direction because Buhari took Nigeria downward and is it not going further down? A large proportion of Nigerians says that Bola Tinubu failed and is the worst president we've ever had. And he's the most terrible president we've ever had. Some people are saying it's too early to judge him. Others say it's better than Buhari. But look at the comparison. If you can compare Bola Tinubu and Buhari, is that not, the standard too low? So I want us to get into the comment section. Let's have this debate because we do very intelligent debate in this on this channel because it belongs to all of us. Again, as I said, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. If you've been following us and you've not subscribed, please do so. But do you agree with Omoyele Sowore? Has Bola Tinubu been a catastrophic failure for Nigeria or is doing a good job? Put your thoughts in the comment section. As always, I will catch you up in the next video. God bless you. Bye-bye for now.